need someone to do the math for me. So welcome everyone to Monday Night Live. We are all live by the look of things, which is fantastic. Big night tonight. I've forgotten to get prizes, which is devastating. I'll have to look around me to find prizes. So let's get this show on the road. So welcome everyone, heap of people here, Sarah, Maddie, we're here, it's Nick Knack all rounder, we're on the YouTube and we're on the Facebook, so g'day all, big night tonight. I'm a bit sick of talking about it, but I am, Neil was out at the lease on the weekend, we had a big weekend at the lease, so that was excellent. So needless to say, I'm a bit disorganised tonight. So I've caused a controversy through last week and the weekend. Facebook went nuts. I may have not explained something properly, and yes, I might have caused an issue with that silly little star chart thing. So I've actually recorded something that I'll play in a minute with the and it might give me a chance to go and get the get some prizes organised, because I completely forgot about the prizes. Can't have that business. So I promise we'll have I promise after I pay you this little tiny video, we'll move on from the 6,000, because I'm sort of a bit yeah. So yeah, it's a bit yes. I do blow up Facebook. Yes, exactly right. Now Baz says people stop saying flog ground when there's a 6,000 fine stuff. Yes. Righto, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this 3 years and still unorganised, Mr. Weirdo. Exactly right. You should see what happens behind the screen. It's just a disaster. If I didn't have the girls in the shop, it would be, yes. So, give away a 6,000. Yeah, that's not happening, Todd. Thanks for your help, though. So, I promise to you, I'll answer questions anyone's got anything on, but this is the last thing I'm going to do on the 6,000 for a couple of weeks. Yeah, because I think we're all over it. We're all done. It's a good machine, but I'll just play this little one. I'll go and get some prizes, and we'll move on. Not that one. Not that one. I thought I'd had the video lined up, but I didn't. It's actually this one. Hello. Well, I just want to sit down and explain this chart. Okay, there's been a lot of controversy about this chart. So today I had a big conversation with one of the guys at MindLab, and I wanted to know what the deal is with this chart. So, from my understanding, it is fairly accurate. Okay. Now, what this chart says is about factory settings, the preset settings. Okay, not changing any factory settings, not lifting your game up, not winding stuff back. Okay, so factory preset, so SDC on 2. Okay, with stock coils. So you will not get these results. So if we have a look at it, right, on a 5,000, right, now a 5,000 is not known as a tiny, like we're talking about 0.05 nuggets there. The 5,000 is not known for that. Okay, now sure, you can go and put a SADI on and change your settings and wind that back down into that range, no problem at all. Okay, and you will get better performance in this chart. Okay, likewise, you can put a big giant coil on, go trophy hunting for 100 gram plus pieces, and you put a giant coil on the 5,000. Sure, it'll punch deep, right? But that's not what this chart's about. This chart is all about factory preset standard coils. Okay, so if we were to approach that that thinking, that's how they put this chart together. It gives you an idea of the performance of each of the machines against each other. Now that's factory, that's, nothing changed, just turn on and go. So I know for a fact, because I've spent a bit of time with that 6000, that it will go very small and very deep on small nuggets. So I went to an absolutely flogged out patch the other day with it, and I didn't find any gold on this patch. I'm not saying I found gold and stacks of gold with it, but what I was doing is I was digging shotgun pellets at 6 to 8 inches in a flogged patch that's had every one of those machines over it 150 times. So I think it gives you a fair comparison, right? The thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't accurately represent the 5000, in my opinion, because no one runs the 5000 in factory preset. No one runs, there's not many, very few people run a 5000 or a 45 or any of those other machines with the standard coil. We're all using Evo coils and Coiltech coils, right? So you've got to bear that in mind. Now, 1 gram nuggets and above, the 7000 wins, okay? So the 7000 is still the king of the heap, but for ease of use and lightweightness, the 6000 will win. Righto, there we go. So really, that was obviously replay. I recorded that earlier on today, so that's why I wasn't responding in any context. But yes, it's a great machine. Would I recommend buying one? Yes, I would. I got sick of digging. What were they? Shotgun pellets in this really, really flogged area. I must have dug about a stack of them. So, and I got the heebie-jeebies with it and walked away. So went back to the lease. So yes, so I promise, unless anyone's got any questions, I promise you, we won't talk about the 6000 much tonight. So, because I'm a bit over it, I've been over it for a while, and to be honest with you, I haven't even got one sitting around me. So, yes. So, tonight's prizes. We got beautiful Brucks pick. We got a few of them in stock here. This is the 600. This is the one that I helped design. Really, really wide. Really tough metal. It's a Biz Alloy. I think it's a 440 Biz Alloy. So, yeah, really, really good, strong pick. We've tested it. It's one of the strongest picks on the market. So, it is going to the YouTube. Okay? So, fantastic pick. Of course, I have to remind you, if you want a pink one, you have to buy them, and all the proceeds go to Breast Cancer Foundation. So, it is a sensational pick. So that's going to the YouTube, right? Really, really cool pick. Okay. Then we're going purple. If I can lift this thing up with one hand. We're going purple, right? This, well, everyone knows what this is. It's a big dolly pot with a big donger, right? So this, right, is going to Facebook. A purple dolly pot. One of the best ones going around. And yes, so this will go to Facebook. It's a look. Let me just get rid of the donger here. It's a big pot, right? Big handle on the side, nice big hole, so you can be. Yeah, it's a monster dolly, right? So yes, I know this. Yeah, it's a very, very big dolly pot. So, but it's a very good one. How I tend to use it is tipped up. How I tend to use them is I tip them up on the side, right, and get into it that way, sort of thing. So that's why that it's not huge, but you get a lot of force with it, sort of thing. So yeah, great dolly pots made by the same people who makes the geez, I got some weight to it. Makes the picks. So, yeah, fantastic dolly pot. If you're allergic to purple, I do have another colour out here. Yeah, so that's fine. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off here. Yeah, so, yeah, so all you've got to do, if you're new here, welcome to the show that is avoiding the 6,000s. We're done, right? So, if you're new here, all you need to do is make a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, make a comment on YouTube. You go into the draw to win a pick. If you make a comment on Facebook, you go in the draw to win a, a big dolly pot. So in purple. And if you're absolutely allergic to purple, right, you might be able to talk me into sending you another colour, because the purple one is fairly popular. So yeah, they're great dolly pots though. Yes. So what's happening tonight? Okay. So let me just flick across this picture. I stole this picture. This is actually a picture painted based on an 1860s, I think, view of Castlemaine in Victoria. And of course, now that's a very funny question, Craig. Craig, when's the 8,000 coming out? Oh God, I hope not tomorrow. I hope not. I hope they don't leak any information and then release it in 6 months' time. I couldn't deal with that. It would do my, yeah. Anyway, so this picture, yes. So Castlemaine in Victoria, of course. I stole it. It's a painting from 1860s. So sorry to the artist. I need to borrow a picture for Castlemaine. So, and that was the coolest one I could find. So why are we talking about Castlemaine? We're talking about Castlemaine because it was around this time in 1851 that gold was first discovered in Castlemaine in Victoria. Found by Christopher Peters. He was a shepherd and he kept a hut, an outpost. And he worked for a bloke called William Baker. William Baker, when William Baker saw the gold, he said, "You're a bunch of no goods. That's only fool's gold," and threw it away. So now Baker was a cunning man, right? He was a very cunning man. He knew it was gold, but he needed shepherds, right? So he didn't want the boys leaving their post, right? So, and they did just that. John Worley, George Robinson, Robert Keane, all in the employ of our mate Baker. They teamed up with Christopher Peters, and started working the gold. So when Baker found out that they'd left their posts, they'd had a month on the diggings, and he chased them off chased them off for trespassing, right? Because they weren't working. So off you go, boys, right? And to repay the favour, they sent a letter into the newspaper in Melbourne and announcing the new goldfield with the exact location of where this was, and caused a gold rush. So so within a week, I think it was about 8,000 people working on that goldfield, and at its peak, there was 35,000 people working in that Castlemaine area. So it's a pretty cool little piece of Australian gold history. They used to call it Mount Alexander. So that one there. So yes. So that's our little bit of history for this evening. I guess most people knew about that. So, yes, exactly. Right, so I've got to catch up on some comments here. Yes, Timmy Breen's there. I've got to come and Timmy Breen's got a conveyor sitting there. I've got to go and talk to Timmy about that. Get it up the lease. So, great fires. Yes, everyone loves that purple, the purple dolly pot sort of thing. I'd love to come down to Victoria. There, who was that? Glenn. I'd love to come to the original show. Last year, the idea was to take this show on the road and get a little bit more organised and have people in a room and have a live audience, maybe do a few interviews, rabbit on about my normal stuff like I do. But yeah, the Wu-Tang flu got the better of us for that job. So yeah. Jeff King's in New Zealand. How about these Dream Mat things? Dream Mat things are going well. However, we've just been restricted here in Queensland, which yeah, it's not that flash. So yes. So Simon, I'm here at the shop tomorrow. I do have some work to do on Wednesday. I'm laying some grass at home Wednesday, which I didn't know about until I got home from the lease last night, and was on the top of my jobs list for Wednesday. So I'm laying grass Wednesday. That doesn't sound very exciting to me, but anyway. And then I've got to duck out the lease on Thursday and Friday, and then I'll probably be back in the shop Saturday. So yes. Yeah, so that's my movement. So if anyone is chasing me, I'm in the shop all day tomorrow. I do have to go to the bank and a few other bits and pieces, but I won't be away long. So, everyone's winding me up about the Equinox 1100 and the 8000. God, I hope not. Yeah. It sometimes. It sometimes is too much. So, yes. The map printer is up and running. We're still trying to work out our copyright issues. So, it's a bit bizarre, but we will get that map printer going. So, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to print high quality topo maps. High quality topo maps with the... let me see if I can pull one up here. Doesn't remember me. So high quality topo maps. What am I talking about here? High quality topo maps with gold locations on it. And I think it will be very, very strong. Let's see if I can share this. Show you I don't want to get too far into this, but this is GAIA GPS. I always recommend GAIA GPS because I think it's the best stuff going around. We just need to get the layers correct here. We've got New South Wales topo, but we're Queensland topo. Get that going. So I don't quite know where I am here. I'm lost in South Australia, if anyone's concerned about me. So we've got the Queensland. I'll just dial in here to, let's say, we'll get up the back here. Just to give you the idea of the detail. Let me share this screen. Sorry, I should have shared the screen earlier. So this is the quality of the maps. This is GAIA GPS, right? This is the quality of the maps we're going to do. So you'll be able to dial right in on these maps and get a really good topo map. And we'll print not necessarily off this, but the same source maps, so you can get really, really high quality topo maps, but customized with, let's see if I can find some gold locations. So we will be able to print you, if you're working in this area here, I don't even know where this area is, But if you're working in this area, we will be able to print you that map, right? Super high quality with gold waypoints, historic gold waypoints in there. We'll be able to get some real proper detail for you. So hang on a tick. I haven't. God, I'm a bit of. Oh, there's something wrong with me. I tell you, I forgot to do this. Right, but this is this GAIA topo, right? We won't use GAIA, of course, because we're running into copyright issues with that. But really high quality topographical maps with the gold locations on it, like with the waypoints on it. Like if I go over here, I can point with the waypoints on it. And really get into some great detail on some of these gold fields, because there is still a demand for paper maps out there. I know that, you've told me that. So we're going to work on that and get that happening. So that's what we're going to do. It's just we're having a bit of a battle with the copyright because we want to do it the right way. But we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So I'm using them at the moment, those maps, and they are just quality. So I'm being told not to look at the comments for your own sake. I guess that people are getting stuck into me here. Right. What's this? Baz. Buy a 5,000 and 3 gold monsters makes an 8,000. Oh, God. We're going. Yes. So I wonder whether I'll live long enough. Peter mentions here, I wonder whether I'll live long enough for the 10 million, the GPZ 10 million. I don't think I'll live long enough for that. So, yeah. So, will I have the maps as PDFs? I can probably do PDFs, but for the mucking around, you're probably better off for $20 downloading this app yourself and creating your own maps and putting it on your phone, right? Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would just, yeah. The trick with it is the service we're offering, if you like, is a printed paper map, because you can't get good quality paper maps, topo maps. Certainly the government has stopped printing them a lot. So can it show fault lines and previous mine sites? I could overlay. No, it doesn't show fault lines. That's getting too much. So yeah, that's getting too much. We'll never manage that. So we can print trilobite. We can. Let me just get you here. We can do. Let me just get you across here. I wanted to share. Right. So you can, with this overlays section. Oh, not overlays, layers. Right. We'll turn off New South Wales. Topo. We don't want that. We want this one here. Right. We can overlay. We can do this sort of business with it. So you've got. You can have the topo as well as a mix of the topo and the satellite imagery. You can sort of dumb that down as much as you want, but that gets really confusing. I don't like a map like that, because you've got to have it sort of the satellite image dumbed down enough that you can't really make anything out on the satellite image, so you may as well just go straight into a proper satellite image sort of thing. So but we will see. It's a really, really good mapping system. You can really see what's going on with your creek gullies and what have you. Where if you've got gold shedding down, let's say here, if you do the technique that most, like a lot of prospectors use, it's not my technique, but I talk about it. But if you use the technique that I talk about, and you pan a lot of the gullies and find out, right, there's colour in here, and then there's no colour here, right? But you pan this one over the back here, and there's gold in this one, well, maybe your source is up the top. It tells you a lot of stories putting this information on a paper map. There's no doubt about that at all. So, yeah, it's the old-fashioned loaming. It's probably not quite loaming. It's probably just alluvial prospecting. Do I plasticize the maps? I don't plasticize the maps. You can take them somewhere and get them laminated if you'd like. But, yeah. That app we were just looking at is called GAIA GPS. GAIA GPS. Right. How I run that app is I run it on my phone. Let me just, before I turn this around, we'll pick a spot that is less sensitive. I run this on my phone, right? So that's it there. So I download the area that I'm going to before I leave. So I've got it I've got it on my phone before I go. Then I can go. Then I've got it live with me the whole time. So that's the advantage of it. The other advantage of it is the waypoints are excellent on it. So what I do is when I put a waypoint in, when I find a nugget, that got the GPS locations on it, right? When I find a nugget, right? No one pause this video. No one look at that location, right? I'm a lunatic. I've just shown you GPS locations, right? But I actually take a photo of the nugget so I can go back and look at the nugget. So that photo is associated with the waypoint. So and of course I've loaded all the gold locations on here. So yeah, you can see the stacks of gold locations on there. So I use that. So what I also do is I have that in the iPad in the ute, right? And then obviously it's on the computer. And so when all these three things come into Wi-Fi, they all sync up. So you've got all your new waypoints put on all your own phone. So yeah. So I've just lost like 50 viewers who are all scrolling back to pause the video to see if you can get more waypoints. Well, good on you if you do. So yes. So yeah. So yeah. Smuggy's in the house. GemQ. There is a show next week. GemQ. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to ring you. You're on the top of the list, GemQ. So that I didn't quite get there. So yeah. So that app is GAIA GPS, right? So let me just type it in here for you. Right, GAIA GPS, that's it there. And then of course I use Trilobyte for my geological Trilobyte app for my geological stuff. So yeah, so they're the two things, GAIA and GPS. I've just chucked them in there. It might come up as restream. So can you have some more locations? Yeah, mate. Yeah, no problems at all. Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, that one. But anyway, I'm a bit dopey like that time. So yeah. Peter asked about Avenza maps. I had a quick look at Avenza maps. I don't know whether it's just that I'm used to used to GAIA, but I actually prefer GAIA over Avenza, but that might be just personal preferences, mate. So I hear a lot of people like that Avenza, but that's another one to look at. I just like that one because it's simple and yeah, it's simple. So yeah, that's that waypoint's a long way away. So the cost of GAIA is well, I don't know. Yeah. Benny Reed's given a spot in Claremont. I pulled 100 bits out and they couldn't find one with their 7. Yeah, yep. It's a yeah. It's more about skill with the detector. So yeah. So yes. So, well, there's a slight problem, and there's a slight problem with that waypoint. It's not something I can go to tomorrow. Something I'm going to go to very shortly though. So yeah. So yeah, it's about $20-30 $30 a go a year sort of thing. When when something better comes up, if Avenza's comes up and it's better, I can just drop that one, pick another one up, sort of thing. So yeah. So GAIA is free on their app site, but you've got to pay to get. If you want the high quality topo map, you got to pay for that. If you want the if you want any of the extra maps, sometimes that yes. Yeah. So yeah, it is definitely worth the money. So yeah. Oh, Roger, you're asking a question about the 6,000. We've sort of been sworn off the 6,000. Yes, you get. Well, we'll talk about training. I'll transition this into training. Of course, you get if you buy a 6 from us, you get 2 days at the world's greatest gold lease. Well, that's just my opinion, but it's a fantastic gold lease. We had a fantastic cracking weekend out there this weekend. Dopey here. Well, not dopey. I am a bit dopey, but we didn't detect any of it. Since it rained, we hadn't detected. I don't think we'd pulled a detector out of the bag. We've been too busy fixing equipment and getting dirt out. So there was a lot of little nuggets come out with all the water. I reckon we had 8 to 9 inches of rain out there on the lease over a 2-day period. So there was a lot of water moving around. There was a lot of there's a lot of gravel moved off the top of things, and everything's moved around. So it was there was a lot of nuggets coming out. Nothing too big. I think the biggest might have been 0.8, but I reckon 25 or 30 nuggets came out. Yeah. So yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah, it's a good time on the lease. It is a great time. We had a rainy day Saturday afternoon, but Saturday afternoon was wet, but Sunday was a beautiful day, and Neil got a bit. So Neil's here somewhere. We had a great time sitting around the fire on Friday night. Few too many sherbets were had by all, and it was lots and lots of fun. So yes. How long I've been prospecting, detecting? Well, really, I blame my grandfather. I'll show you a picture of him actually. I blame my grandfather. He had this beautiful. I don't even know what happened to it. He had this beautiful cabinet in his mineral specimen cabinet in his lounge room, and I was fascinated by that. And I used to go out as a kid, and all the way through my life I've been prospecting. For me, what I'm really passionate about is life should be an adventure. It should be a lot of fun, right? So it's this school kid, this young kid having an adventure in the backyard looking for treasure, right? So we were talking about this the other day. What sort of gets me going with with detecting and treasure hunting? I've got to look for my picture of my grandfather here, but I should save it. We're going to do a night. We're going to do a bit of history on this sort of stuff. But I don't know how this is going to show up, so you'll be looking forward to it. So I don't know whether that zooms. There's my grandfather. right? So there's my grandfather. He was a tin miner at I'll remember the name of it, in the Territory. So he did a lot of tin up in the Territory. He did some gold on the Palmer. So yeah, fascinating little history there. But I didn't even know that he'd done any gold on the Palmer. I knew he'd done tin mine at, what's a big tin mining place? Rum Jungle. He was tin mining at Rum Jungle. So my grandfather did a lot of different things at cattle stations and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that was probably, I think that was in the, I've been talking about Auntie about this actually. So we think that it might have been in the 30s. Yeah, late 30s, we think. So I've got a stack of those photos, but yeah, the looks like this his sluice run there. I don't know whether you saw it, but his sluice run there looks like to me. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. So his sluice run there, I've zoomed in on it a bit. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it here, but his sluice run there looks to me like a, let me see if I can get this right here. Looks like a sheet of iron with holes punched in it. So yeah, exactly. So so it sort of runs in my blood. But I spent a long time working in big retail, and yeah, some things sort of woke me up a little bit. And I knew, I came back from the UK and I knew that it had to be something that was fun. So it needed to be fun first, you know, before it necessarily, it's not just about money anymore. So yeah, yeah. Oh, Lindy, my dad worked on tin dredge in Derby in northeast Tasmania. Julian Holland, Palmer, what's doing? So the Palmer River. So we're working with the landowner there to sort of help him work through the process to open up the Foster King area up there. It hasn't come off. It hasn't fallen into place yet. We're still working out the red tape because there is a fair bit. But once that's all set up, we might be running some tours up there, some tag along tours. So that will be really, really nice. So yeah. Yeah, we'll do some tours up there. But watch this space. It's coming. It's not there yet. It's still pretty rough to get in there at the moment. So yeah. Oh, Trevor Pye's here. The dark side's in the house. Look out. Yes. So yeah. Right. So. Oh, Jay's just down the road from Rum Jungle. Yeah, well, I think I haven't looked at this in a while, but I think I need to do some research before I do the show on him. But I think Rum Jungle had a lot of tin, but it also had a lot of uranium. And I think the uranium mines, they were early, from memory, they were early uranium mines, and they buggered the environment. So I don't think it's actually a nice place to be anymore. So. But we got stacks of photos. He's a bit of a photographer, so he took photos everywhere he went. So yeah. So yeah, tin in North Queensland. It's funny when you talk about tin's having a bit of a resurgence at the moment. So we'll just come across here and I might have to move you around a bit, but tin price. Tin price chart. Let's look at that Australian dollars. So the problem with the tin mining is there's not many places. You almost need to refine that stuff yourself. Let me just see if I can get this here down a little bit for you. Let me just get that down a little bit for you. Let's have a look. That's 6 months. Let's look at 20-year tin prices. What's this? Nothing. So 20-year tin prices, right? So this is for a ton, right? So this is for a ton, and we're looking at Australian dollars per ton. So we're looking at about 34,000 in February this year, a ton for tin. And you can see that the price is sort of consistently rising. You know, it's sat low for a while, 7,000. So there's a big interest in tin mining, actually. There's a big interest in tin mining, and there's a lot of new tin mines going in around the country in those old tin prospects. They're looking for it, sort of thing. So yeah, so it's interesting. So yeah, yeah. Yep, so, righto. So just to remind you, on the YouTube, if you make a comment on YouTube, if you're new here, welcome to start with. But if you're new here, right, we give away something every single Monday night. Well, just about every Monday night, right? And all you need to do is make a comment on YouTube, right? You go in the draw to win these. We'll draw these in about 15 minutes. So YouTube, you have the opportunity to win a pick, right? Now, Facebook, this is probably the second last time I'm picking this up. I'm going to drop it on my toe. So Facebook, if you're new to Facebook or you've just arrived, you're a late arriver, right? We've got a fantastic purple dolly pot and a big giant donger to crush up your rocks, right? If you're offended by purple, right, I think I got a green one, the red one out there. But a proper dolly pot. So it's a big monster thing. I've got to put the basher down, but it's a big, massive thing, right? It's a really cool dolly pot sort of thing. So a lot of people mention that that's too big and this is too small, but really, when I'm smashing up some rock, I'm leaning it over on an angle like this and smashing into the bottom corner. So, yeah. So it is a good dolly pot sort of thing. So, right. Right. So let me just see here. So both of those are $139. That dolly pot's $139. That pick is $139. Right, they're available on the website, of course. If I was more organised, I'd put a link up. But lucky for you, I'm not that organised. Otherwise, I have links up to everything. So go to the Gold Diggers page if you do want one. So yes. So Greg, running late, Brett, Baz, David, Shane, Nick, Angie, right? Up there. 03 Pauline Bell, that's a great name. Chris Cosgrove. Yes, so g'day guys. Now, we've got an important thing to talk about. There's a lot of people here that Tim LTD was at the training on the weekend. Had a good time. That's good. So we got an important thing to talk about. I got distracted. Now Trish is here tonight. I saw Trish here tonight. I think she's on the Facebook. Jossie's here. Smoky prospecting. Good YouTube channel. Now Trish is here somewhere. I've seen Trish. Stick your hand up, Trish. Everyone can see you. So Trish has come up with a fantastic idea for both the Metal Detecting World Championships and I believe, you would have to check with her, in the Metal Detecting World Metal Detecting World Championships and the Carrara Nugget Hunt, to put a gazebo up for the Facebook groups. So if you run a Facebook group and you'd like to put a poster up so people know that that's a good Facebook group. There's Trisha with a hand up there. So if you'd like to be, if you run a Facebook group and you'd like to be part of that, then send Trisha a PM on the Facebook, right? And have a chat to her, because I think it's a fantastic idea for all the Facebook pages to be, represented, so that there's a, there's a central spot for everyone to, go and talk to their Facebook moderators. So, yes. So, yeah. The case for the 6,000, 7,000, I said that other word again. So a case for the 6,000 there, Glenn mentions one. There is one at Super Cheap Auto, but I don't know whether the Super Cheap Audio... Glenn, can you tell me whether the Super Cheap Audio or Super Cheap Auto one, you have to pull the bottom shaft out or not? I think you might need to pull the bottom shaft out. I haven't seen one, except for the big Pelican cases, that actually fit a complete 7,000 in. So, yes. Brett, I've got 6,000. Mate, I'm trying to remove it from my brain. So, yes. Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome, Terry. You're our guest from furthest away, I think, this tonight. Normally we have someone, we occasionally have some people in from the UK. I think they're the furthest. I think they're polar opposite, just about. But welcome from the, yes. Yeah, CQ Detectress is it's got a gazebo there. I think I've got a. Got a gazebo, a bright yellow gazebo for the Facebook groups, but maybe they can be grouped together. I'm not organising either of those events, so I don't have to worry about where people are next to each other. So, yes. Super cheap case, you have to remove the lower shaft. Yeah, I thought so. So, Danny, can we also put a gazebo up to petition a change in Queensland rules requesting more sites to dig? Yes, I think that's a cracking idea, and we're going to have a, yes, there's moves in place. Who knows by who and who knows when, but if something doesn't happen soon, I'm going to bloody do it. So, Graham Bauer. You got an SDC and you find it very heavy. Right, Graham, I have a solution for you. What I think you mean is you wear out quick, right? And for me, using the SDC, I wear out quick too. And that's simply because the SDC, you're using your arm a lot to swing. Okay? My suggestion, I've talked about this a couple of times over the weekend, is with your SDC, get yourself a guide arm. What it does is it locks your arms, right? And you use your core rather than swinging with your arm. You'll get a lot more time out of it, and you won't feel it as heavy because you're not using your arm to do it. You're using your core. So have a crack at that, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Peter Austin's in the house. G'day, Pete. Hey, Dirt is a bit out of stock at the moment. I was questioning whether I should go to Victoria and talk to a bloke who designed the hydraulic system. I've decided against it, but I'll just fix the hydraulic system. And yes, that's why Peter has been a bit delayed. We will be on it. I tell you what, we're on it this week. I tell you, we're going to move some dirt this week. So, Jason had a good idea. I can't see that good comment there. So, right, okay. You can get a Queensland and New South Wales park ranger to talk rules in their points. Really? God. You want to put me through that? Righto, Scott, we will see. I will write a note of it to get a ranger on. I know a nice ranger. But I'll have to talk to the powers that be. Yes. Get Gary Drayton on the show from the Curse of Oak Island. Yeah, well, we could. So tonight's backdrop, let me just see, we can go over here and let me just fix this. Let me get rid of me, to be honest with you. That was actually a photo sent to me of North Queensland, but I think that's secret squirrel stuff. I don't know whether we're allowed to be there, actually, to be honest with you. But that's a beautiful spot up in far North Queensland. So yeah, I love that. So it's a pretty cool photo. So Lionel, how do I find out if a Crown land signs are real? Some bloke put 2 up on trees near his property. I have no idea about that, mate. I'd be talking to whoever. I don't know what state you're in to start with, but I would be talking to the Lands Department, whatever the Lands Department is called in your state, and chasing him up. So, yeah. Right, so I've got behind here. Yes, so actually, someone just put a message up. I've just scrolled past it, but it would be good to have a government body, fossicking body. Did I say body too many times then? At these events, right? So you could go up and ask them a question. I don't think they'd want to do that because I know some of you blokes and you're not that polite with authorities. So I'm not being rude here, but you know. So I don't know whether they'd be too keen on that. I think they'd have to wear their bulletproof vests. But yeah. So yeah, that will be good. What would the lightest metal detector be? Oh, Kathy, that's a hard question. If you're talking kids, it'll be that little Bounty Hunter Junior. It weighs about 700 grams, less than 700 grams, half a kilo. Yeah. But, you know, they're all fairly light. The big hitters like the 7s and the 5,000s you want to stay away from. But, yeah. So, yeah. Yes, see, Steve, I would drill the representative, yep. ORX is very light. There's lots of machines that are very light, but it's a big question, like, what sort of detecting do you want to do? What's your budget look like? You know, what colour plastic do you like? You know, there's 1,000 questions. So, high RPM, I'd need Ned Kelly armour. I think we'd be pretty good at dealing with Ned Kelly armours. So, yeah. Right, so here's a hard question. David asks, what's the best devices for charging GPZ gear out in the field without using four-wheel drive car batteries, cigarette holders? Manually, like connections for solars, inverters, what's the best out there? Now, that's a big question, right? I would not be charging a Z battery on anything that didn't have another battery in the system. So in the Cruiser, I charge my batteries. Currently it's got one solar panel on the roof. I can fit a second one up there, and I'm going to fit a second one up there. I need to get up there because I'll tell you another story. I've just noticed I've been doing some work on the cruiser. There was a leaking mount for the roof rack, and so I've been up there. I got a wet nose one day, and so I got up there and I realised one of the aluminium struts running across the roof rack had broken. So the solar panel's actually holding the roof rack up at the moment. So I've got to get up there and fix that. And when I do that, I'll put a second solar panel up there. And I have a 100 amp hour battery in the cruiser. It runs the fridge, it runs the lights, and it charges all my detector batteries. I think that's the safest. I think that's the safest way to charge your thing. You don't want to be charging it directly off solar panels, right? But I think that's the safest way to change it to charge your battery. It's also if you've got a standalone system like that, I've done that on purpose. That if that's a standalone system, the canopy is a standalone system, so that when I'm in the bush, let's say for some reason I've got a flat battery. I've had it happen in the old Triton where the dual battery system failed and flattened both batteries. So I always thought when I put the cruiser together, I wanted a separate battery that was, so if I get a flat battery in that cruiser, I just jump it off the battery in the back. So yeah. Right. Portable jump starters are good. Some of them don't like to supply 12 volt power out. They need to clip onto a car battery to do. But yeah. So, Trevor Nielsen, I never got any answers on your bucket list on where to go prospecting. Well, this is strange. This is back to the adventure, the hierarchy of what I find exciting for prospecting. We'll talk about that for a minute. I know we've just about run out of time, but so it might be a bit strange, but well, you wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest with you, would you? PNG, if I could do PNG safely, I would love to do PNG. I would love to spend a season diving the Spanish treasure wrecks off the American coast. I think that would be proper wicked. I haven't told the wife about this though, but I'd love to have a sapphire mine at some stage, like something that's got some volume about it, not just poking around, but something that's got some volume about it. What else I do want to have a crack at opals at some stage, but Africa doesn't really excite me that much. PNG, I'd love to go chasing in the Philippines. I think it's completely illegal, right? So this is never going to happen. But I'd like to go chasing the old Japanese. The Japanese buried a lot of gold bullion in the Philippines. I'd love to go chasing that around. I'd like to dive under that ice. Where's that? Nome, Alaska. I'd love to have a crack at that. Because I've done a fair bit of diving in my younger life. So, but yeah. So there's a stack of stuff I want to do, but that's sort of my bucket list, right? Like going to places in Australia. Like I've been to a fair few places in Australia. So there's a place in WA. So for instance, these are the sort of friends I've got, right? So a few years back, well, precisely almost 4 years ago, it was Finn's first birthday, and I invited a mate of mine who was a geologist. right? He's a coal geologist of all things. And he does a lot of, like, he's an exploration geologist. So he drills a lot of these things and then sells them on to coal mines, right? Anyway, he arrives and he says, "Oh, I was actually talking to a bloke about it the other day." He gives me he said he handed me a geo map, right? And he said, "Oh, this is for Finn when he grows up." And on that geo map was just a circle, right? I'm not showing you that one. He said that'll be still there when Finn's old enough to take him with you, and there's good gold there. So I've never been there. I'm not even telling you what state it's in, but it's very, very remote. And it was yeah. So yeah, I would love to do all that. Todd, yes, you're right. The Japanese gold was found by the Marcos family, and that's how it became so rich. Yes, partly so, but yeah, it's partly so, but apparently there's still a lot of it there. So, yeah. So, yeah. Right. Where's a good fossicking area near Brisbane? Warwick or Gympie. Watch out for the snakes at Gympie. Yeah, so. Graham, stay and detect for the lease is blank. That's because it's me having to go out there and run it. So we're not actually doing it at the moment. We're just doing the training. So the only way to that now there's the only way to get on the lease is actually training at the moment. So Stan Jones has come up with a good idea here, and I'd like to do that. Lassiter's Lost Reef. I'd like to go and have a chase around for that for a couple of months. So yes, so that would be cool. So yeah, yeah. What's that? Zoran asks, where is that circle? It's on a map, Zoran. So I have not been to Tassie. I watched the is it Tassie Boys Prospecting or Tassie Bloke Prospecting or something or other. I love that stuff. He does some he does some cool things. When is the next training session? Do you know? The next training session is, we're doing the middle of the month, basically. Every month, middle of the month. So, yeah. So, yeah. Scott, that map is printable on my printer. It's about $800,000 for that map. So, yeah. Tassie Boys Prospecting. Thank you, Angie. So, I'd love to come and have a run with Mark down the Bushranger country. Get into some of that ground, but we'd like to find a bag of sovs. That's what we need to find, Mark. Need to go chasing a bag of sovs. What we need. Righto, let's get on. I've rabbled on too long. I'm 6 minutes over time, so we better get this show on the road. So, let me just load this up here. Sorry, I just need to write this down. Let me just load this up on this other computer. Wrong mouse. I'll have a look here. We'll go to here. Actually, the good thing about running a bit long is all the prize seekers tend to disappear. So it's very, very, very good. So it's very, very, very good. So, let me just get this up here. Okay, so we'll do the Facebook first. So the Facebook, let me just see what's going on here. Just see what's happening here. It's not working. Every week I say, I'll just do this. and I'll get it organised, and I don't have it organised, so it sort of sucks. So let me just open it up here. Go here. Someone's trying to get hold of me, so let me. Righto, sorry. Right, here we go. Facebook for the dolly pot, the purple dolly pot. I've got it up. I'm about to push the button. So if you haven't made a comment for the big giant dolly pot in purple with the purple donger, it goes out to, let me push the button here. Yes, Dre Teasdale in Darwin, Northern Territory. G'day, Jay. Congratulations, Jay. You're the winner tonight. And then we'll go over to the YouTube, the other YouTube, and it goes to 03 Pauline Bell. Congratulations, 03 Pauline Bell. Now, Pauline Bell, you'll have to contact me directly after the show when you see this, because it doesn't actually, I can't contact you on the Facebook. But Jay, I've got you. So, Pauline, you won a pick. So congratulations, Bruck's pick. All these are available in the shop. So on the website, we'll post them out to you. Yeah, Dave, I'll post it up to Darwin for him. That's what we do here. Righto, guys. So let's so next week there'll be a show. We'll have a lot of fun, and thanks very much for a fun night tonight, guys. I had a ball tonight, actually. So we'll see you next time, mate. Night.
Thanks guys for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and call us on the Daylight Helpline. See you next time.